Hello, good afternoon guys. Someone requested me to discuss about conversion. She's actually a foreign student, that's why I will be using English during or on our entire discussion today. So to begin with, our conversion will include from fraction to decimal and then into percentage. This topic actually is for elementary students or pupils, but then this is still very useful on our journey in math, in high school, even in college, and even in our entire life. So it is better if we have a good background or better understanding about this, or if we will do it efficiently. Okay, so our first example, let's say we have 1/2. So how are we going to convert that into decimal? Some books or some mentors have different approaches. Sometimes they require us to multiply into this number or to that number, and then before you finally get the decimal, and even in getting the percentage. So my approach is different, or maybe the same with a few others. So if you have 1/2, we will not complicate things. We will just multiply, divide 1 divided by 2, because fraction is actually a representation also of division. So we will just get the quotient of this. So 1 divided by 2, okay, 1 divided by 2, so cannot be, so we will annex 0 here. So we have 0 here, and then we have decimal here. So now we have 10 as our dividend. 10 divided by 2 will give us 5. Okay, so 5 times 2 is 10. 10 minus 10 is 0. So that is our final answer, 0.5 or 0.5. Okay, so that's our decimal value. And then how do we get the percentage? So you will just move 2 places to the right. So if this is your decimal value, and then move 2 places to the right. So if we move 2 places to the right, 0.5 will become 50%, or 50, and then percent sign, something like this. 0.5, move 2 places here, and then another one here, so you have 1 0 here. But sometimes it is not explained to us why we move 2 places to the right, because if we're talking about percentage, we're talking about 100%. So we know that 100 has 2 decimal places. That's why if we multiply 0.5 by 100, then you will get the percentage. Okay, 0.5 times 100 is equal to 500, and we have 1 decimal place. That's why we have 50.0, and this is already insignificant value, so that is equal to 50, and that is our percentage value. Okay, so as simple as that. And 50% also means we can also convert that into fraction. That means that 50% is 50 over 100. Okay. And the greatest common factor, or the highest number that can be divided by these two values, 50 and 100, is 50. And therefore, if you divide 50 by 50, will give us 1. If you divide 100 by 50, will give us 2. So that is 1/2, equivalent to this fraction. So 50 over 100 is 1/2. And probably you know this already. 50 over 100 is equal to 1/2, because if you cross multiply that, 500 divided by 2 will give us 1000. No, I'm sorry. This is 50 over 100, not 500. 50 times 2 will give us 100. 1 times 100 will give us 100. So this is 100. This is 100. But in dealing with fractions, I always recommend to apply first cancellation. So before you cross multiply this, if you divide this already, or if you get the lowest term of this, 50 over 100, automatically you will get 1/2. That's why cancellation is very important. And you can only do cancellation if you understand well, or if you know well the GCF, or greatest common factor, and the LCD, or lowest common denominator. So it's another topic actually. Okay, let's proceed to our next example. So again, you just divide numerator by the denominator like this one, and then you will get the decimal. And if you have the decimal value, you can easily get the percentage by just moving 2 places to the right, or multiplying it by 100. And we know that 100 has 2 digits. That's why if you have 0.5 like this one, if you have 0.5 and you have 2 decimal places for 100, meaning to say 5 is 1 decimal and another 1 for the second decimal. So you have 50. So you will remove this dot. So you have 50. That is the percentage value. Okay, next example. Let's say we have here 1/4. Okay, so if we have 1/4, the same process. We divide 1 divided by 4. So cannot be. That's why we will annex 0. This is that. So annex 0. So we have that here aligned with this. And then 10 divided by 4 will give us 2. That's not perfect rational. So 2 times 4 is only 8. 8. So 10 minus 8 is 2. So of course borrow 1 here there. So 2, and then annex another 0 here. So bring down 0. 20 divided by 4 is 5. 5 divided by 4 is 20. And 20 minus 20 is 0. So we have this value, 0.25, or 0.25 here. 0.25. Okay? So if you move 2 places to the right, will give us 25%. 25%. So that is the answer. Let's have another example. Maybe we can use the other blank. Okay, let's say, so this is fraction, decimal, and percentage. Okay, so let's say we have here 3/4. 3 over 4. Okay, let's try to do it again. 3 divided by 4. Okay, we have to annex 0 here because 3 is less than 4. So okay, we have decimal place here. 30 divided by 4 is 7, because 7 times 4 is 28. And if we subtract 28, 30 minus 28, that's 2. That's 2, because borrow 1 here, this will become 0. 2 minus 2 is 0. So annex another 0 here, and then bring down 0. 20 divided by 4 is 5. Okay, 5 times 4 is 20. and 20 minus 20 is 0. So we have here 0.75. Okay, so this is 0.75 or 0.75, and if we multiply that by 100 or move 2 places to the right, will give us 75%. Okay, so that's how we do it, even if we compute for other fractions. But if that fraction is improper fraction, meaning to say numerator is greater than denominator, it will give us more than 100%, because the answer for that is more than 1. And the same thing as I told earlier, if you convert this 75 over 100, because we multiply that into 100, so if you want to convert it back with this value or this fraction, you will just divide it by 100, because that's what percentage means. Let's say, for example, 75%, meaning to say that is 75 over 100. So if you know how to compute for the, or how to get the GCF or greatest common factor, these two values are divisible by the highest divisor for this is 25. So if you divide 75 by 25, so 75 divided by 25, cancel, you have 3 here. 100 divided by 25 will give us 4. So that is 3/4, like this one. And it's very important to learn how to get the least common denominator or divisor and the GCF. And also, I would recommend to master the cancellation. And for you to become good or better with cancellation, you must learn these two things, LCD and GCF. That's why in elementary we are required also to memorize the multiplication table. Because if you will be dealing with fractions, you will always need to, or you are always required to get the LCD and GCF. So the faster you can compute for it, or you can get it, the more efficient and the faster you can come up with a correct or exact answer. Because you cannot do cancellation if you don't know the GCF, because that is the way how to cancel it or how to apply cancellation. So GCF is it's about factoring numbers. So like for example this one, our sample here, 75 and 100, you can do that manually to come up with the 25 as your GCF, 25 as your GCF, but you can do it mentally if you are already knowledgeable in getting it. So you don't need to do it manually and factor it one by one just to finally come up with your 25 GCF for us to be able to get the final answer, or this is already the simplest form or the lowest term. Okay, so that's all for now. Thank you, and don't forget to share this video and subscribe to my channel. Bye bye.